Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Let's have some fun. Who knows? Maybe it'll be an Olympic sport one day, Lou said, with a coy smile on his face. Now you're just being silly, Bonnie said. My friends and I just like to play blanket toss to waste time. You should do it sometime. I know it would make you laugh. Sorry, but I'd rather keep my feet on the ground. Okay, Chicken Little. Just let me know if you change your mind. Bonnie was always trying to get Lou's attention, but Lou thought that made her even more attractive. Even though they had only been going out for a few weeks, they were already more than just friends. Lou hoped that she would be around for the rest of his college years. Bonnie had a beautiful round face that made her look like an angel, but her eyes were full of mischief. When he first saw her, it was at a play at the campus theater. She was in some kind of random musical medley that started with Oklahoma and ended with Greece. All he really remembered was Bonnie dancing on stage in a beautiful yellow dress with lots of petticoats that made it look like it was floating. That night, she was so different from the other girls on campus, who looked tough in their jeans, tattoos, and nose rings. The Halloween party is coming up in a week. Do you have a date yet? She asked, giving him a sneaky look. Not really, but would you like to go with me? Lou was a little bit glad to stop talking about the blanket toss and how scared he was. That would be great, she said with a smile. What kind of costume do you want me to wear? Something with petticoats, Lou blurted out. Then he turned red. Bonnie giggled. Petticoats? You liked me as a little malt shop girl? Lou nodded and got even redder. Bonnie teased. Oh, Lou likes it when his girls are very girly. If you're really good, I might let you try on one of my pretty petties yourself. Bonnie! Lou yelled out loudly. That comment was completely out of line. I know, she said in a whisper. I know you wouldn't dream in a million years of putting on a nice dress and petticoats. Well, maybe once in a million years, she said after a long pause. Lou couldn't hear himself answer because his heart was beating so fast. Absolutely. Positively never. He crossed his arms to show how much he didn't want to do it. She cried, "Aw." Then, all of a sudden, she had an idea. I know what I can wear. Little Bo Peep. Who is Little Bo Peep? Backstage at the theater, there are some costumes straight out of that fairy tale. You can be Jack Horner or something, and I'll be Little Bo Peep in a lot of petticoats. Lou stopped by her dorm room that night after class. Bonnie opened the door while wearing a stiff hat with light pink flowers on it. I've lost my sheep, she said with a laugh. Lou asked, So you found the costume you wanted? Uh-huh. She hung a cute little dress from the ceiling and swished it back and forth in a tempting way. Want to try it on? What do you mean, try that on? What kind of a guy do you think I am? Oh, please, Lou. Please be Bo Peep for me. Just for a short time. She used the lace sleeve with the ruffles to tickle his neck. But why, Bonnie? Because I can tell you want to dress up for me so badly that you're dying inside. This afternoon you were so cute, all red and stammering. She kissed him on the spot. He melted in her arms and knew he couldn't say no to her again. In a matter of seconds, Lou was down, had all his clothes off, trying to get into a pair of long, ruffled bloomers, while Bonnie sat on her bed and smiled at him. Lou was surprised by how many undergarments Bo Peep needed for her outfit. First came the silky bloomers with ruffles, then a little camisole with lace around the edges. A taffeta petty about an inch or two above his knee, followed by a very full organdy petticoat and several layers of tulle. On top of that was another skirt made of taffeta, and then the sweet little Bo Peep dress. Bonnie zipped up the back of the dress and tied the pink satin bow sash around her waist. Lou found himself thinking, so this is how it feels. This is what it feels like to dress up as a girl. Sit down at the vanity, missy, Bonnie cooed. And don't bunch up your skirts when you sit, okay? Lou found that even taking a few steps across the small room was a whole new experience in the pretty dress. When Lou got to the small bench in front of Bonnie's vanity, he carefully smoothed out the back of his dress and sat down. Yuck! Lou looked in the mirror and frowned. He thought he was very girly, but he didn't look it. Bonnie whispered, "Shh, we're not done yet," as she reached for her compact. With a little translucent powder, Lou got rid of the shine on his nose and evened out his skin tone, but his natural rosy blush still showed through. Bonnie quickly traced Lou's eyes with liner and mascara, bringing out his innocent, wide-eyed look. She had learned how to do this in high school plays. Bonnie then filled in the Cupid's bow of Lou's mouth with a creamy, pale pink color after a few strokes with a lipstick brush. Lou didn't notice the blonde wig with curly, sausage-like hair until Bonnie put it on his head. As Bonnie brushed his curly hair, he was shocked by how much he looked like a girl. Lou just shook his head in shock. He laughed and said, I'm Bo Peep. These were the biggest ones I could find," Bonnie said, showing him a pair of black dance slippers. "They get a little bigger. Test them out." "Why do I need to wear shoes?" Lou asked with doubt. I guess we're not going anywhere, are we?" she said. "Only if you want," and then got down on her knees to put the slippers on his feet. "Point your toes, honey. You got it." Even though they were tight, he was able to get his feet into them. Then, before he knew what was happening, she put the bonnet on him and tied the satin ribbon tightly around his chin. "Even better than I thought," Bonnie said with pride. "You make the perfect girl." Lou was more excited, scared, and happy than he could remember being. He got to his feet in a clumsy way and brushed a loose curl behind his ear. He hoped that his full skirts would hide his growing bulge. Bonnie laughed and gave him a squeeze on the hand. "Feels nice?" She made fun. Her face changed all of a sudden. "Do you smell smoke?" "No," Lou said, alarmed. Bonnie ran out of her room and into the hallway of the dorm. Lou instinctively reached behind him, but little Bo Peep couldn't take her clothes off on her own. A minute later, Bonnie came back with a tight face. "Big fire in the stairwell," she said with a serious tone as she pulled back the curtains. Lou quickly moved away from the window. About an hour of daylight was left, and he could hear a group of girls shouting in the yard below. The third floor was where Bonnie's room was. "Where's the emergency exit?" Lou screamed as Bonnie frantically waved to the other girls in the yard. She yelled, "No time for that! It's on the opposite side of the building." Lou looked behind her to see the girls playing in the yard. They were throwing a girl up in the air while holding a big canvas blanket in their hands. Bonnie yelled and waved at them again. Lou could hardly keep up with how fast things were moving. The next thing he knew, the girls had run over to the side of the building, and Bonnie was jumping out of the window. Her friends quickly found her under the blanket. Bonnie got to her feet safely when the girls on one side of the blanket slowly lowered it. Then everyone turned to look at him. "Don't be afraid, Lo, you little Bo Peep," Bonnie called to him from above. "Jump, and we'll catch you." Lou was almost sure he couldn't smell smoke. Had their little game of dress-up made him feel so overwhelmed? Lou climbed up on the windowsill, held his skirts tight, closed his eyes, and jumped. He felt like he was in a magical daydream. The next thing he knew, he heard a loud smack as his bottom hit the blanket. When he opened his eyes, the girls were all around him. No one put their end of the blanket down. "Who is that?" Bonnie was asked by a pretty Asian girl. "Just a friend," Bonnie stammered. "We were trying on Halloween costumes for a party." Lou fussed with his dress and tried to get out from under the blanket. "Small Bo Peep, do you want to play blanket toss?" asked a little girl with red hair and pigtails. Lou shook his head, stood up in the middle of the blanket, and walked away. He thought for a terrible second that his wig had fallen off, but the pink flower bonnet kept it in place. He was helpless as he looked at Bonnie. He was pretty sure she was behind this terrible turn of events, but he didn't know how far she planned for this to go. The girls gave him a moment to think about what was going on, and then they pulled on the blanket hard. Lou jumped up 2 feet, yelled, "Oh!" in a very girly voice, and then fell back down onto the blanket, his dress flying up the air. "Oh, she has so many frills and lace," one of the girls said. "Let's throw her way up into the sky, please," Lou yelled. But the girls snapped the blanket again, sending him flying. This time, he tried to land on his feet, but he misjudged and fell on his face, showing his ruffled behind to the laughing women. Over and over, They threw him high into the air until the lacy secrets of his dress were all out in the open. Lou found it very humbling to be thrown into the air like a helpless toy, with her petticoats flapping, her bare legs kicking, and her curls bouncing. When she landed awkwardly on the blanket, she was thrown even higher into the sky. When a group of girls dress you up as Little Bo Peep and throw you into the air, you lose track of time. Eventually, the mischievous girls got tired and let Lou put his black dancing shoes on the sweet green grass. They didn't say anything if they knew his real gender. Bonnie wished them good night and guided her dizzy, beribboned beau back to her dorm room. Lou said in a weak voice, "No fire? Shh, no, there was no fire. It was just a prank to get you to try the blanket toss. Don't say you didn't enjoy yourself. You had the biggest damn smile I've ever seen on you. I might have had some fun. But you deceived me. I outsmarted you, sweetie, and got you to try some new things you would never have done. Oh, all I want is to get my pants back. As soon as we get upstairs, my sweet Bo Peep, you'll get your pants," Bonnie told him. "No more games. Just a nice bubble bath and maybe some holding hands. No more tricks, Angel, at least not tonight. I love you." Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon and follow us on Twitter. Have a wonderful day.